Hello everyone, and welcome to Thoughts from the Throne. Today, I don't really have anything I was going to say, any topics that were prepared, anything I was mentally ready for. I'm just going to kind of come and shoot off the hip right now. A lot of guys supported my match last night against James Storm. The hashtag of Hardy vs. Storm trended. It was one of the most talked about topics on Twitter. I really appreciate that love. You guys supporting myself and Impact Wrestling over social media is huge, and does a lot of great things as far as building awareness for the TNA wrestling brand. As far as the match goes, I didn't win, although it was a 5-on-1 handicap match, essentially. Next week, my brother's coming back, and from what I've been told by Dixie Carter, it is going to be in a cage that is fully enclosed with a roof. There's going to be no interference for the Revolution. And we all know James Storm cannot beat a Hardy one-on-one. He has to use his gang, his cult, his thugs, the Revolution. Next week, Jeff's going to whip his ass. With that being said, this week, this match happened back on the European tour, as well as my match did with Bram. And during that tour, it is when I came to the conclusion that I was overworking myself, especially at the age of 40 years old. I'd been working like a maniac through October, November, December, January. And sure, I was making very, very good money, but I have to really take care of myself. I cannot spread myself too thin. And that's why I decided, as I'd said in my Future with TNA Wrestling, the video I did before this, I went to Dixie, I went to John Gabrick, and I signed a contract with TNA Wrestling. I signed a full-time, long-term deal. I'm going to be around Impact Wrestling, and I have decided it is time for Matt Hardy to get right. Version 1, Mattitude, is coming back. About 10 days ago, I started the most intense diet, the most intense training that I've done in a long, long time. This morning, I was 219. That's the lowest I've been in many years. And I'm not going to sit here and brag and say, look at me, I've lost this weight. I'm going to let my physical appearance speak for itself. And that means no bread, no carbs. Believe me, I'm starving myself. I'm loading up on protein, and I'm training. I'm doing the things I need to do, and that's what I want to do. Because for the longest time, I was happy with being in the business and making money and giving back and helping young talent. Now, I've thrown my name back into the hat for being a full-time performer. And now that I'm doing that, Matt Hardy isn't back just to help others. Matt Hardy is here to get his. And in Impact Wrestling, there's two things I can promise you. One, Matt Hardy is going to come back and he's going to be as good as he has ever been in just a few weeks. Two, Matt and Jeff Hardy will, I promise you, I swear to you, we will win the TNA World Tag Team titles. That is the end game now. We've played around. I feel like we haven't been totally serious, totally committed to it. But now Jeff is back off injury. He's totally reinvigorated. I had been hurt. I've been dealing with a lot of nagging injuries the last few weeks. I'm going to take a couple weeks off myself, and I'm going to come back stronger and better than ever. This is the time for Hardy Mania to run wild in Impact Wrestling. Matt and Jeff Hardy, when we win those TNA World Tag Team titles, I'm going to sit here right in this throne, and I'm going to hold the title, and I'm going to do Thoughts from the Throne for the TNA World Tag Team title here. Mark that down. Just recently, there was a set of TNA Impact Wrestling tapings, and Bob Ryder, otherwise known as the Bobberazzi, according to ShaneHolmes.com, actually took a picture of the Hurricane, who was there, and he was present for all the Impact Wrestling tapings. And I just wanted to address this situation. A lot of people have asked, like, are the Omega Powers reforming? Is Hurricane coming to TNA? What's the deal? Well, here's the deal. A lot of you guys know Shane Helms has been dealing with a lot of physical injuries as well over the last couple of years. He had a major neck surgery years ago. He had a major problem with his ankle and foot, and he just recently underwent ACL surgery. So Shane is going to be out from the ring for a while. But one thing that is truly great about Shane, he is blessed with an amazing wrestling mind. He has a wrestling mind that very few people in this business has. He was actually there, and he was working as an agent behind the scenes, kind of helping guys work on their characters and their arsenals and kind of concepts for different matches and different ideas. And I think Shane would be amazing and creative as a full-fledged TNA office employee, and we will see where things go. He was there that week, and he had 2 thumbs up from everyone. And I'm always happy to have my best friend around and working backstage. So Shane Helms at TNA, I like it, and I want to see more of it. Speaking of Shane Helms, a lot of people have been buzzing about the new Omega. And the new Omega, sure, I started, and Jeff was a big part of it, but you have to give full credit to Shane Helms. He's the guy that is the wizard behind the curtain, so to say. He's the guy that's pulling the strings at the new Omega, and he's doing a great job. And a little birdie told me the next Omega event is May 2nd, so clear your calendar and that little birdie may have been a hurricane wearing green and black. But May 2nd in North Carolina, I can't disclose the location yet, but May 2nd is going to be the next Omega event, so get ready for that. I also want to go into one situation. A couple weeks ago, I was supposed to wrestle Alberto El Patron. A lot of you guys know him as Alberto Del Rio at a Northeast Wrestling event. And just a couple nights before in Mexico at AAA, Alberto actually had a partially torn quad, and he was hurt and he couldn't compete. But I want to tell you how good of a man and how dedicated of a competitor Alberto is. He still got on that plane, he flew up there, and we talked about it. And that day, we were able to rearrange the card a little bit, so it was myself and Alberto in a tag team match against the Young Bucks. And that way, he could kind of work around his injury, so to say, and still appear in front of the crowd and still make that town. Because the promoted thing was seeing Matt Hardy and Alberto El Patron. So that was very cool that he showed up and fulfilled that commitment, even though he was hurt and he could barely walk that day. The funny thing is, whenever they changed this match and it was announced, the crowd didn't go crazy because, sure, it's a great match, Alberto and Matt Hardy versus the Young Bucks, but a lot of people wanted to see Matt Hardy versus Alberto. There was one smart internet mark in the crowd that really stood out to me. I heard the announcement when they showed the package and they changed the match, and they said, now the main event will be Matt Hardy and Alberto El Patron versus the Young Bucks. And it's funny that one voice I was able to single out, an internet smart mark, said, "Oh man, you know why they're changing this match, don't you? This sucks because El Patron or Matt Hardy, neither one of them want to do the job, so they're putting the Young Bucks in there. That's these old veteran talents running over these new young talents." And this guy's like, it's just so funny, the mentality of some wrestling fans like that. That was not the case. Actually, Alberto didn't have to get on a plane. He didn't have to fly there. He didn't have to fulfill his commitment to appear that night. And on top of that, he went to the ring and risked even incurring a further injury, by appearing as my partner that night. So I want to give a thumbs up to Alberto for being such a warrior that night. I also want to give a thumbs up to the Young Bucks for stepping up and getting in the ring. Love the Young Bucks. They truly are the hottest act in professional wrestling that has never had a run on WWE television. And I love them and I respect them because of that. I actually tweeted about it last night. I said I would love to see the Hardys versus the Wolves versus the Young Bucks in a best-of series in Impact Wrestling. And I would love to see that happen. If the Young Bucks would come down, I'm sure TNA would love to have them. They're a hot commodity right now. Bullet Club, New Japan, ROH, they're everywhere. Anyway, with all this being said, it is time for me to get back to it. It's time for me to hit that cardio hard. It's time for me to hit that gym hard. It's time for me to be strict about the diet because Mattitude is back. As always, thank you for joining me here at Thoughts from the Throne.
Keep coming back. I got a family to feed.
Get with it.